live from the Belleville parking lot where I just saw West Bloomfield knock off Belleville in double overtime in one of the best high school games I've seen in a long time. Obviously featured Michigan running back signee Donovan Edwards. Going to talk a little bit about him and some of the targets, just give my thoughts. But man, what a game. Two state powerhouses coming together for, I believe, the third time. I saw the game last year and it was a really good one. This year was, like I said, one of the best I've seen in a long time. Kind of back and forth, really tough matchup early on. It was an extremely physical, low scoring contest, 7-0 at half. West Bloomfield, it looked like Belleville had some momentum late in the second half. They set up for a game-winning field goal. It got blocked. Then in the second overtime, Donovan Edwards scored in the first overtime. Second overtime was Kentucky signee Max Hairston. Belleville responded, went for two and did not make it. And of course, West Bloomfield stormed the field and all that good stuff. It was just a great game overall. Despite the pandemic, just a great atmosphere. It was awesome to see some of these kids like Donovan and Max that are seniors that, could be off at college already, playing and still being a part of West Bloomfield. I mean, it obviously means a lot to them, and I think Ron Bellamy has done a terrific job with this program. He's obviously an ex-Wolverine, and the kids love him, and it's clear they want to play for him. And so I was really just impressed with the way West Bloomfield kind of, lost momentum a little bit, but clawed their way back and pulled it out. They have a lot of great kids on the team, and so was really happy for them. Donovan, talking about him, it was kind of tough sledding for a lot of the game. So he broke an 84-yard touchdown run in the early second quarter, late first quarter, I want to say, called back due to holding. And then he had a 50-yard touchdown run. But other than that, for basically every other part of the game, he was really bottled up. I mean, he was still gaining 3-4 yards here and there, but he just wasn't really moving the chains like he normally does. Belleville has a really nice front seven headlined by Penn State signee Jamari Button and five-star Damon Payne. So they have a lot of talented guys in the box, and so they kind of stacked it and tried to make West Bloomfield throw the ball a little more than they're used to. Still, Donovan came up big when his team needed him. Like I said, he had that 50-yard touchdown in the first half. He scored late to tie the game, so he ended up tying it to make it 21-21 with 2 minutes to go on an 18-yard scamper, and that was his second longest run of the day. And Belleville, like I said, drove it down the field, tried to kick a game-winning field goal. Did not work. West Bloomfield got the ball first. Donovan scored, so he had 3 touchdowns total. So while it wasn't his biggest day, he still got in the end zone 3 times. He still made those clutch plays when his team needed him the most. When it was 0-0 in the first half and nobody could really move the ball, it was Donovan that broke loose for the 50-yard touchdown. When West Bloomfield fell behind 21-14, it looked like all hope was lost. It was Donovan that scored and tied up the game. It was Donovan that scored to start off the overtimes and really give his team momentum. It was Donovan that was cheering the guys on from the sideline. It was Donovan that ran out onto like the 20-yard line to scream at his defense before that last stop. So he means everything to his team, both on and off the field. And he, like I said, didn't have like the most amazing stat day, but he was still terrific in this game, especially considering how good Belleville's defense is. Quickly talking about some of the other guys with Michigan offers on West Bloomfield's squad. Dylan Tatum, Rivals 250 athlete. He had an interception on the far side that I didn't get good video of. Played mostly safety, a little bit of nickel today. Did suffer from some cramps late in the second half that kind of kept him out for the end of the fourth quarter and into the overtimes. But he had a really solid game on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's really emerging as an elite level defensive back. Remember, Dylan was a guy that a lot of people recruited as a running back early on, but I really like him as a corner, safety, nickel, just kind of a jack of all trades in the secondary. He has a great compact build, really athletic guy. He did move the chains a little bit on offense. He had a couple of good runs between the tackles, but for the most part, I mean, his ceiling is the best on the defensive side of the ball. I really love him there, and I think he's ranked around where he should be, right around a 200 to 250 range nationally. 2023 offensive lineman Amir Herring had had a handful with the aforementioned Belleville front seven, but he's a really good looking prospect. Michigan offered early on, and he's just really technically sound, good feet, guy that's really a high football IQ guard, plays tackle at West Bloomfield, but I think he'll slide over and into the interior and be a guard. But just a lot to really like about him early on, especially, like I said, from a technique standpoint, from a mental standpoint. He's really advanced for his age, so I thought he held his own against that Belleville defense. Some other guys with Michigan offers. Michael Williams, a four-star athlete in the 2022 class, did not play. He's been dealing with injury all season. Michigan's offered 2024 defensive end Brandon Davis Swain. He had a couple of flashes today, but he's still really, really young, so he's more of a rotational guy right now, but a really high ceiling and a name to file away. But overall, it was Donovan and the West Bloomfield defense that kind of stole the show today. So for all your Michigan recruiting coverage, your coverage from today's game, make sure to head over to the Wolverine.com. Use promo code Blue60, get 60 days for free. I just had an exclusive up with Donovan Edwards earlier, literally like 5 minutes ago, where he talked about the Mike Hart hiring, moving into his dorm yesterday, continuing to play with his high school team. So you don't want to miss out on great content like that. Head over to the Wolverine.com right now. Use promo code Blue60, get 60 days for free. All right, guys, appreciate it. I'm going to get back on the road to Chicago.